Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. It's been awesome. You guys have been great. Thank you to everybody who is helping this channel grow. And to those of you who are just commenting, it's great because I get to see what you're thinking. And I think there's something that we need to talk about today. Before we do, we always got to do our spring water check. Because guys, if you're not drinking spring water, you're not getting the minerals in your water, all right? It's the little things in life that add up and make the biggest difference. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today because we need to talk about being a man and what that looks like with the everyday battles, with the everyday moving forward step by step. I get it, guys. I'm just a guy. I've accomplished a little bit. I failed a lot, and I'm here because I keep fighting. And I was thinking about that today when I thought about what it took to get here, right? And this goes beyond me. Think about your life, right? Think of what your parents have endured raising you to put you where you are. Think of your grandparents, your great-grandparents, if you understand or know what that family lineage looks like. Think of what it took to get right here. Think of it. I want you to stop and think about it because oftentimes as men, we want what's in front of us. We want the idea. We want to accomplish. We want to conquer. We want to make it happen. And those are good things. It's good to have that vision. But it's also equally important to reflect and really be grateful for where you've come from. I was thinking about it today, guys, because I know a little bit about my family background. And just as an example, I was thinking about it, and my great-grandparents, or great-great-grandparents, I don't know how far back it goes at this point, but my ancestors, so to speak, they were in the Civil War in Tennessee. Apparently, my family was there. And then the Civil War, they traveled, to Texas. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, if they didn't make it out, I wouldn't be here, right? If God didn't protect them, I wouldn't be here, right? And then, I was thinking about it, fast forward, I was thinking back, like my parents raising me and stuff, and how easy it would be to just walk out, give up. And I understand that everybody watching this has, two parents, or maybe has, parents they can look up to. Might be a touchy subject, but even if they just raised you, right? Or think about your father figure, your mother figure, whoever raised you, and the sacrifice it took to get you here. And then think about all the things in life that you have avoided that could have killed you, right? Maybe you've overcome a medical issue. Maybe you've overcome some very dark places in life, internally. Maybe you've actually made it out of bad situations in person, right? Like wrong place, wrong time. And, by the grace of God, you are standing where you are today. I can think back at many times in my life where I shouldn't be here. Things that happened that God shielded me from, that I avoided, that he protected me from. And oftentimes as men, we forget about that. We forget about what God has brought us through. And I was reading in Proverbs, guys. I try to read a Proverbs every day. I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying it because there's so many things out there we can do. And there's so many things out there we should be doing. But oftentimes we get focused on the wrong things. It's good to have encouragement. It's good to have motivation. It's good to look into things. But ultimately, you got to come back to the core. You got to come back to the word. You got to come back to where there's life, right? And I think that as a man of God, if you're watching this video, it's not by coincidence. A lot of people, they might hear about God. They might hear about Christ. And they might be like, ugh, I don't want to hear this. But I've tried it all, guys. I really have. I've tried it. I used to have a really big ego. And to this day, I still pray that God would humble me, because when we think we're good, when we think we're fine, when we think that we're okay the way we are, that's when we get complacent. That's when we become prideful, and that's when we fall. A lot of people live in this mindset day after day, weeks, years, and they think that, I did it all. It's because of me. And we get so short-sighted, and we tend to forget what we've been through. And guys, I think it's really important that we reflect on that, because we can't truly appreciate where we're going and where we're at until we really recognize and are grateful for what we've been through. And a lot of us guys, a lot of us we tend to look at the things that have happened to us, and as men, it's easy to play the victim because we live in a society where, for the most part, it's almost glorified, right? You know, you should be always talking about your emotions. You're encouraged to be in your feels, and guys, I don't know about you, I don't like being like that. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like I'm the strongest person I can be. I'm not saying you can't let those feelings out at certain times, certain places, certain people. Sometimes behind closed doors, you just got to cry and let it out. But you also have to realize what being a man is all about. And if you've been through a lot, and even if you haven't, but those just, you know, maybe one or two things you have been through, because everybody has a story. Everybody's been through something. Everybody's conquered and overcome something in their life. And again, we take it for granted. We can use that as fuel. We can literally turn failure into fuel. If you take the air out of failure, you can turn it into fuel. Something I made up, but you can look at that word failure and take out AIR, and you get fuel. And so it really depends on your perspective. It really depends on how you look at things. Are you going to let the failures and you're going to let the things that might have hurt you, might have got you down, define you, or are you going to actually stand up, choose to be a man, and keep moving forward? Because life as a man is about strength, not just gym strength, not just physical strength, even though that's important. It's about your endurance, guys. It's about perseverance, right? You want to get somewhere you've never been, you got to go somewhere that most people probably haven't been, right? Everyone wants to get to the top. Everyone wants to do this or that. Everyone wants to be the best, but are they really investing into themselves as a person? Not what other people tell you, but actually looking at yourself and being like, okay, what's good for me? A lot of guys don't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that for a long time. I thought I have to follow this formula. I have to follow this template for everything. And I got to the point where I realized certain things work better for me and certain things are useless, and they're just not helpful, or they're extremely detrimental. You got to be honest with yourself. And I think every man watching this video knows that there are certain things in his life that are keeping him from being his best self. When I say best self, guys, it's not about your pride. It's not about being, good for yourself. It's about actually living out the purpose that God has for you. And that specific purpose God has for you, because you're not meant to be like everybody else, right? You're an individual. You're a human that was beautifully and wonderfully made, right? Fearfully and wonderfully made. You were made for a time such as this. I was thinking about that today. I thought, man, it's been real stressful in life. It's been real crazy. And I thought, man, like, why am I here? And then I thought, I was thinking back, even last night, I was looking back and I was like, wow, I prayed to get to this point. I was like, God, just let me get through another day, another week, another month. Right? I prayed for doors to be open. They were open, and everything fell into place. And then, the one time that bad days happen, the one time that we're stressed out and we don't think we can make it, we tend to implode on ourselves and we tend to go, I can't. And then we have to really check ourselves and go, okay, no, this is where God wants me to be. He's going to carry me through. He didn't just bring me here to leave, right? People might do that, but God doesn't do it. He brought you here for a reason. And so we choose to implode and we choose to self-destruct, or we choose to go, thank you, God, for this moment. Thank you for making me stronger. Thank you for pushing me to my limits, for showing me what perseverance is and what true strength is. Thank you for the opportunity to overcome an obstacle, to overcome stress, to overcome this thing that's in my life that I'm just trying and struggling with. Thank you for the ability that I keep fighting, that I keep going. And we have to think about life as going through the crucible. Guys, going through the crucible. God's going to bring you through the crucible. As men, we want to live in comfort. I've talked about this before, but our enemy is comfort. And occasional comfort's not a bad thing. But this world is so easy. Guys, it's so easy. There's so many things you can turn to. You can go get a bottle of liquor. You can go in many states, and if you're in the U.S., you can go get extremely strong, marijuana just meant to get you super high, and you can go get drugs on the street corner. You can do a lot, right? You can look up porn on your phone. There's all these things you can do. But it's not about like stopping the bad things. Like, yes, stopping the bad things. Turning from the bad things is important, right? Repenting is turning away. You got to replace it, right? You got to let something fill that void. And if you don't know Christ, I would reach out to him, because he'll have his Holy Spirit fill you, and you'll have that replacement. But it's still going to be a struggle. It's still going to be a fight. You're still going to backslide. You're still going to mess up. You're still not going to know exactly what you're doing. You're still going to find yourself living a certain way, but over time, God's going to refine you. He's going to show you the way. And then you're going to become more aware of these things. And to fear the Lord is to turn away from evil. Proverbs was talking about that. I think I read that yesterday. And I kept rereading that verse. I'm like, wait, the fear of the Lord is to turn away from evil. The fear of the Lord is to turn away from evil. And I really thought about it. We all know in our heart, in our mind, in our soul, what's evil, what's not good for us, right? In the New Testament, it talks about to him who sins, to him who knows what's wrong. I'm trying to remember exactly what it says. But basically, to him who knows what's good and doesn't do it, to him it's sin, right? And so if we're not doing good, if we're not doing better, right? And again, it's not about this personal achievement. It's not about this earthly achievement. It's about being who God made you to be. A lot of people think that an abnormal amount of stress over a very, very long period of time, I'm talking years, guys, things that can be avoided. People live their lives a certain way and then wonder why they feel or why they think or why they are a certain way. And usually it's because of overindulgence. It's because of idolization. It's because of the trap that people are in with consumerism, thinking they have to look the part, play the part, talk the part. Had someone comment on one of my videos I made earlier. I talked about how I'm not a huge sports guy because it seems like people get so heated and so fired up, and they revolve their whole lives around sports and these teams. And guys, a lot of it, I'm going to be real with you, I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers here, especially for sports fans. But honestly, I think a lot of that stuff's rigged. I mean, think about it. These people are getting paid millions of dollars. You got these teams that are being led by people who are richer than them. And you got all these different deals and all these different business things tied up into it. And, bribes behind closed doors, right? Things that are scripted, or like, guys, there's so much to it. And people spend so much time, like so much money, so much effort on people who are doing things. People who are out playing, like throwing a ball around. And yeah, it's fun to play sports. Yeah, if you're really, really into it, sure. But just really check yourself with anything like video games, overindulgence of drinking, overindulgence of this or that. There's so many things we do we think are normal, but are they? Like, when's the last time you picked up a book that you wanted to read and you read it and you finished it? When's the last time you went to the gym for more than a week? When's the last time you ate healthy for more than a week? When's the last time that you went and did that thing that's been in the back of your mind? Yeah, I'm going to go learn how to ride a bike. I'm going to go learn how to swim. I'm going to go learn how to play an instrument. I'm going to go learn how to fight. I'm going to go learn how to change a tire. I'm going to go, when is the last time that happened to you guys? Because it's all about pushing yourself, right? You got to rest, you got to recover, but you got to push. And you got to be grateful for the days that are in front of you, the days you've come through, right? Because you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, but you got to be assured, have assurance that God's brought you up until this point for a reason. You're watching this video for a reason. You have this fire in you for a reason. I talk about this a lot because I believe it. Because there was times in my life where I had nothing. I'd lost everything twice, maybe 3 times. And I read Job, and it says that sometimes God brings a man through this 2 or 3 times. He brings his soul back from the pit. He brings his soul back from death, right? Like when there's no hope, when it's bleak, when it's dark, so that he can proclaim his name. And that's what we should be doing, guys. We should be proclaiming his name. Doesn't mean we got to go around bashing people over the head and always, just talking about this stuff. But when the opportunity presents itself, right? Where can you let your light that God's shining through you shine? Where is those times in your life you can uplift people? You see, we think we always got to be proselytizing, which is like preaching. That's not always the case. Oftentimes it's those small gestures. It's living the fruits of the Spirit. It's being kind. It's being patient. It's having long suffering. It's having, these traits that a lot of people, especially as time goes on, don't really have anymore. And I used to think like, oh, being a good person, people are so concerned about being a good person. But guys, there's a lot of people out there who are living like on the surface, they're acting and they're showing these fruits more like people who are not, maybe they don't go to church, are acting like better Christians than actual Christians. That's a crazy thought to me. And I think a lot of it is because we get so caught up in the present and how we feel, and we get the world is just bombarding us, and we're always just like thrown around, like, being tossed to and fro. We're not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to stay rooted in the word and rooted in the promises and rooted in the wisdom that God's already given us, right? He's brought us this far. He's not just going to turn around and leave us. So something to chew on, guys. I know broad video today, but I hope this gives you some encouragement. I hope some guys out there, just maybe one person, realizes that they have a purpose. They've been through everything for a reason. God's brought their lineage. They're like, you're not just a mistake. You're not just a coincidence. You're not just a happenstance. Like you are here, right? Everything has a reason. Everything has a purpose. So think about that, guys. Meditate on it. And if you haven't, talk to God. Just pray. Pray with your arms open, right? Just pray. Be like, Lord, I don't really know. Maybe I don't know how to talk to you, but show me. Just talk. Just talk to him, guys. You'll be surprised. A lot of people, they try to have the perfect prayer or a perfect script. Just talk to him. He's your Father, right? Jesus is Lord, but he called us friends. He called us brothers and sisters, right? So think about that. Guys, if you need anything, let me know in the comments below. Really enjoy hearing from you guys, and Lord willing, I will see y'all in the next one.